Hello, and a warm welcome to the latest episode of the AI Edge podcast presented by Leena AI. Today, we are joined by Mr. Asaf Jackoby, who is the Vice President of Human Resources at Amdocs. Thank you so much for joining us, Asaf.
Thank you for hosting me.
Absolutely. Before we start things off on the podcast, I'd love for you to introduce yourself, your role at Amdocs, and also for the audience who is in front of us today. What does Amdocs really do?
Okay, so maybe I'll start with Amdocs. For those who are unfamiliar with the company, Amdocs is a global company. We are operating from 85 countries. We are close to 30,000 employees worldwide. Our core business is the telecom provider. We basically enable them to run their business on our systems. So all the mission critical systems of the largest vendor in this industry are operated on Amdocs. My role is, I would say my formal role, because I don't believe that roles defines us anymore, is the head of HR operations and people services, which means that I'm leading the HR excellence, all the HR technologies, people analytics, process excellence, also the HR shared services, the operation within HR, and the HR global people relation team. My main goal is to build and operate innovative, professional human resource organization that enables the business success while we make sure that employees are always in the center. I would say this was, the formal, but the non-formal. I'm a proud father to three children. I'm exploring always about the future of work. I'm writing about it. I'm sharing the knowledge, which is amazing opportunity here. And last but not least, I'm also a spinning trainer on my free time. This is for my soul.
Wow. Glad to have you on board for this podcast. I think we're going to have a we're going to have a great conversation today. So just to get us started, Asaf, you mentioned that you're an avid thinker about the future of work. So let me kind of go right there and start this off. In our audience, we have generally CXOs, CIOs, CHROs, CFOs, and even CEOs who are tuning in to listen to us. So, what, according to you, is the biggest bet that you are making at Amdocs right now on the future of work?
Wow. I would say a few things. When I'm looking at the business, I would start, with what is now bothering my CEO, and later we'll discuss also the future of work as derived from that. When I am looking at the CEOs and when I research the CEOs, we found out that most of the CEOs looking for at growth is their main concern. Actually, 62% of respondents in the survey answered it. It's major growth compared to previous years. So everyone is after the growth. And second to that, you have the financial of the company and the tech incubation and the workforce. But everything, growth is leading. And I believe that when they are looking for growth, it's not only the growth, it's transforming the business. The second, I would say, a most important data point is that almost half of the CEOs says that if they will not transform their business will not be relevant in the upcoming few years. So they need to grow. They are worried about their financials. They have, like, I would say, AI FOMO, the fearing of missing out what is happening in the AI, because everyone around speaking about AI, they feel they must transform. We are in the fourth industrial revolution. We know that every industrial revolution changes the way that organization operate and be managed. So if you ask me what is the future of work, I believe we are going into a world transformation to more of, I would say, algorithmic management system. I would say that we will integrate human and machine in a different way. We might have a AI manager in the future. So I think that these times of looking at the impact of the technology on the organization, the strategic workforce planning of organization, how organization will look like, on the work that we do, and the management system. This is our future.
Makes sense, Asaf. So you mentioned that this year, 2025, CEOs are focusing on growth, and growth is gonna come from essentially transforming how their businesses are run today, because AI has been such a force of nature, said to be the fourth industrial revolution, that everybody, all CEOs, all board members today are saying, okay, how can we grow faster using this new, new technology, which is under the banner of AI, and everyone's kind of getting on board. I think that makes a lot of sense, Asaf. I have a question specifically on your role now. So you also mentioned that you know we're going to see a culmination of humans and agents in the workforce very, very soon. I agree with that absolutely. I think 2025 is going to be the year where agents and humans are going to come together as a part of this transformation to deliver that growth. So and I'd love to also kind of mention Workday. This goes very well with the Workday's release yesterday on the agent of record. So Workday launched the agent of record. It's not just the human, like it's not just the humans record system anymore. It's the agent record system as well that is important. So I think very very right and very on point, Asaf. Now, how do you think the HR function is getting impacted with AI? Like, what are you think? Are there anything that you're already doing? Anything that you want to do? If there's something that you're already doing, have you already started seeing the ROI slash impact? Because people who are listening in, they want to know what can we do next, because they also have the same FOMO, by the way, that you mentioned. They also have the same FOMO, and everyone should have it. There's nothing wrong to have that FOMO right now. So what is it that you are doing, and if you can share some outcomes so that listeners can get some direction from it.
Yeah, so I will say, because when I'm being asked on AI in HR, it's a bit confusing because HR is a dual role, right? We have one target is to really support the organization going through the AI journey and make sure that Amdocs as an organization incubate AI in everything we do. And we have we are also an organization. We need to transform ourselves and embed AI in our HR practices and behavior. So I will, if you allow me, I will relate first, because I think that if the audience is includes more than only HR people, it's important to know how we see at Amdocs the role of HR in supporting the organization.
Absolutely.
And what I believe is that AI has passed the peak of inflated expectations, right? Everyone, AI was out, ChatGPT, OpenAI, everyone said, okay, 25% easily, it will come, we will improve productivity, summarizing my mail, doing all the operational work, easy. We found out that it's much more complex, right? Technology is as good as it would be without people that are using it, does not bring the required value. And also, when you look, and we see it as digital transformation, this AI revolution, more than 40% of digital transformation are failing because of the human aspect. So if you want really to harness the potential of AI and this revolution, it must be adapted by the employee. So when I'm saying adapted by employees, we need to understand that it's not employee is not one. There are many employees. Each one is in a different mindset, different place in regards to AI adoption. And if I can imagine it, AI went out, ChatGPT, everyone was excited, happy, They saw suddenly photo of a dog on a corkinet in the moon and were laughing, and they planned and they did, agenda for a 3 days a trip in Rome, and everyone was very happy. And after that, they will say they even thought, listen, it will free my time. I will have more spare time at work. It will do job for me. But then it changes. It's become a bit of a fear, right? You are saying, oh, but if he knows how to do it, maybe it will take my job. And then you say, okay, you know what? I will try it. But you are overwhelmed. There are so many solutions out there, and you learn one solution and your friend is telling you, listen, this one is doing something else. So you are all overwhelmed with AI. You want to use it, you don't know how to use it. So you are maybe sometimes depressed, then you start to gradually adopt it until you have this acceptance. It takes a lot of time. And when we look at the organization, there are people at any step of the way. So I see HR role is to sense, understand where each one is in the journey and equip them with the right tool to make this journey safe for them. And I will give an example in a second, but I want also to relate to digital culture. We are saying culture. It sounds so, but there is a term that is called digital culture. When you embed AI, it comes with a different culture. Let's take, for example, our discussion now, Teams, Zoom, the decision to do this meeting with camera on or off. This is a cultural thing. It's not a feature, right? The fact that we as a company decide that we would like to see people that we are talking to, this is a cultural decision. So also in AI, you have a decision like this. You need to accept that progress over perfection. You cannot wait for AI to be perfect. There are hallucinations. That you will get things that are maybe wrong. Oh, but this is the reality. Just start and accept it, right? You need to be transparent. You need to keep the ethical. There is a culture around it. So I would say again, as HR, to formalize this digital culture, to bring it into the organization, this is critical. And as I said, we want to make people that fear from AI develop hope, overwhelmed, gain knowledge. So if you are overwhelmed, I will give you very tailored, simple solution, use case focused one to make sure that we are putting you on track. So there are many HR tools to make people go through this journey, and this is our role to make sure that technology and people are coming together.
Got it. I love the answer. So you're saying that more than just using it within the HR org, it is the HR organization's responsibility to make sure that this entire cultural shift that's happening around using AI is managed properly. The change management is done in a way where you can actually quickly get to the last employee, the last intern, and make them AI first instead of just waiting, for that to happen with time and probably, get irrelevant. Because I'm very sure every company right now has that existential risk as well. If they don't move, they will just become irrelevant, right?
Exactly.
Uh, no, I love the answer, Asaf. I have a quick follow up as well, right? So there are a few specific job roles that are very high risks of getting replaced, right? As mature leaders, it is extremely important for us to come out and talk openly about what are our plans for those roles, right? Let me take an example. So, for example, customer support, right? 24 hours on call support for low level L0s or L1s, like very low level, will see massive transformation. I think being in this industry for the last 8 years, I can give that to you in writing. So, as a leader for tomorrow, Asaf, how are you trying to manage that change? So there are roles which are just going to say 100x productivity using AI, right? That's simple. You're going to say, hey, you do X today, tomorrow you can do 100x. Of course, you want to do that, right? You talked about some fear in some people who are doing those roles which probably will not get affected at this point, right? Like, but if I was to specifically ask you about people where we know that the roles are going to get affected. How do you manage those? Because
So yeah,
we have responsibility to them, to the society, and to stakeholders,
of course,
everybody.
of course. So I tend to believe to the World Economic Forum. They released now in Davos lately the research on the impact of AI on job, and the net difference between job that will be eliminated to created by 2030 is we will have more jobs, additional 80 million jobs or places to work in the world. So their perspective, and also we saw it in previous industrial revolutions, is that it created more jobs and more work than it decreased. So, if I'm not looking position by position at the overall, it means we are growing, which means that we have a responsibility to reskill and upskill talent. I would also like to refer to Josh Bersin coined it as a super worker, right? That AI will enable you to become like a super worker. It will assist you in a way that will grow your abilities and not really eliminate the work. And I want to give two examples. One that you mentioned. Yes, we have a level one employees that are handling, let's say, employee queries. They know if the employee is not finding in the article, they will answer the employee instead. And we all understand that tomorrow there is no need for that because AI will do it faster, better. It never sleeps, right? Like this is what the business you do in Lean AI. But if I will now give more responsibility to this person to not only to address questions, but also to solve a service request, to do more complex activities. But even this, at some point of time, probably will not be relevant. It will also be replaced by this AI, right? I'm speaking to companies like Eightfold and others that are having end-to-end AI recruiter. You can screen a CV via AI, schedule the interview. You can have interviews with avatars. There are tools with assessment companies that are doing it, right? Record the meeting. We are speaking to avatar. They analyze in the background everything, your personal, everything is analyzed. So you can take basically the entire role end to end and make it irrelevant. We as a company, um, we believe that the overall will be growth in productivity. It will generate back to the revenue. We will be able with the same people, we will be able to generate more. Therefore, we need the talents that we have. We need to build the relevant reskilling, upskilling plans and give opportunities for everyone.
Makes sense, Asaf. I think so. You're saying that, hey, uh, with AI, and we've seen this in a lot of our customers, where like the IT shared service, the IT support, or the IT shared service, or the HR shared services team gets, like, you don't need to have so many people answering L1 tickets, right? So a lot of them get absorbed in providing L2, L3, so they get upskilled
Mhm.
across it, or they get moved to other parts in the organization as well to do more and much better work. See, at the end of the day, and I was reading. I think an HBS article, HBR article, Harvard Business Review article about this, where there are a lot of jobs that people don't want to do themselves, right? Like, do you really want to be answering L1 tickets? No, like I don't want to do that all day long, right? Like, if I'm spending time, I want to be able to add way more value than just like giving updates on tickets, right?
Yeah,
So I think uh, I'm fully aligned. That's what we've seen in a lot of our customers as well, and how people get absorbed. But the the learning that we want to leave our audience with today would probably be that while you are putting in a program to either improve profitability, increase revenue, reduce costs with an AI, take a portion of the savings or the extra revenue and then put it back in cross-selling and upskilling people who might get affected by it. And this is something which is not one shot and done. You have to continuously keep doing this because AI will keep evolving. You mentioned that because the L1 automation is there already. L2 will be there in 12 months, right? So you got to keep doing this process again and again as an organization to keep upskilling and reskilling your people, and moving them upwards and upwards in the value chain.
Yeah.
Um, Makes sense, Asaf. I think that's super valuable for. I would love for you to give this audience here some practical use cases that you've already implemented at Amdocs. And if you can, add some ROI, like what was the value you were able to generate out of those?
Okay, so I will now relate to HR piece, right? I will not speak about Amdocs because I spoke about HR contribution to Amdocs, but we as an HR organization also transforming. And before I will get into the specific use cases in a second, but we understood that to implement AI, again, it's like you have many people, each one is in different place and positioning toward AI. There are also many solutions out there. So it's not that we will buy now we'll give Copilot 365 and that's it. We implemented AI in HR. So we looked at it from few angles. One, we took everything we do in HR and we broke it down to processes and services. And we explored service by services and we analyzed what can be done using AI. I must say that the most mature, there are two places that has the highest maturity. One is around talent acquisition, and the second is about the HR service delivery. Those are the two places where you have the highest maturity. There are many other use cases I can give you in performance management, how you auto-generate goals. I can give you in a voice of the employee, how you use AI to analyze real-time sentiment. But the most mature places to start with, I would say, is the HR service delivery, the world of employee knowledge of HR policies, practices, all the queries, simple service, case management, this is the place, and in talent acquisition. The ability to use AI, for starting from writing non-biased or a job description, attractive, sending doing campaign management to potential candidate, fetching in candidate, screening CVs, proposing a relevant question for interview, all can be generated by AI and we are using it. So we did that and we did in HR service delivery. But first we started with the process of what has the potential. Second, we learned the market. The HR tech market is really exploding with HR with the AI solutions. You mentioned the Workday announcement, but SuccessFactors has Joule and Vizier has V, and ServiceNow is coming now. Leena AI for sure. So there are many vendors. Learn what the vendor has to offer. They are covering many use cases themselves, so you don't need to invent. Second, we understood that, again, as I said, we bring the technology. If we don't have capabilities, then it's not enough. So we built very tailored per job, per role, the learning and development plan. So if I need now to educate someone from talent acquisition about AI, the prompt engineering will be different. He will use maybe different agents. Then I will educate the one that is sitting in my level 1 support. So the personalization of learning, the creation of communities and knowledge sharing, and the behavior, as we discussed before, to sense where everyone and support them. So if I'm trying to summarize your answer, there are multiple use cases. The benefit, I would say, it's not only productivity, it's performance. So we reduce dramatically to the time to hire. We reduced the cost per hire.
Wow.
We are more accurate with our hiring, the quality of hire. If we are looking at HR service delivery, the SLA was improved by 85%.
Wow.
By 85%. Remember, we have an agent that never sleeps, that is on our entire knowledge base, can reply to anywhere, anyone.
Wow.
If you build it right, the outcome is really amazing.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing, Asaf, to know that you've seen such tangible ROI. So to summarize this for the listeners here, like two areas Asaf mentioned, main areas where he already sees maturity, where you already see maturity are the HR shared services automation and the recruitment automation. And then the third area you mentioned for us here, Asaf, was around learning, personalized learning content for every individual across the organization.
Yeah, yeah. So I would say if I'm taking the talent acquisition, I would also add the domain of I would say the talent marketplace,
Mm.
all the area of talent marketplace where we can offer using AI. I'll give you, another example. We gave the opportunities to our employees to grow their career with us. What it means to grow their career, not to wait and apply for their next job. Basically, I'm just joined the company. I'm financial analyst. I can enter the platform and say, you know what? I want to be a Amdocs CFO.
Ah,
What the company what AI knows to do is to build the optional path to go there.
wow.
We are different moving jobs, offering experiences, suggesting mentoring, taking courses, and he's doing it not only on Amdocs data because this is not enough data for AI. He looks at the entire industry data to analyze all the movement people did on their LinkedIn profile and other places, the digital footprint they leave behind, and they analyze all the paths and bring us the best path. So AI can give young analysts a path to be a CFO, and we as a company are taking him step by step. So if we in the past you want to be CFO, then you were stuck in a very rigid hierarchy, move to the next level, next level. Now I'm giving you to move to be fluid, to get different offering. It cannot be done without AI.
Without AI. Yeah. Because everyone's likes, wants are different and their paths might be different as well. So with this, with AI, you can actually create those personal paths for every single person and give them more options. I think it's up to the human to choose, but give them more options on what they would want to do. I think that's
I would say,
amazing.
I would say, yeah, I would say this. I think that the AI sees things differently. We see job, AI sees skills, right? So the granularity that the AI can see things, or we see the profession how it go. It doesn't see it. It's for him. It's transparent. So he can match people based on skill to a different path, different journey in their career, which we could not have imagined as human being because we are, we cannot digest such amount of information and do this correlation. So the ability of the AI to support employees with their journey, this is really remarkable.
That makes a lot of sense, Asif. I think uh, listening to you, it seems that we are at the cusp of the next generation of how HR is going to look like in an organization, not just within the HR org, but the overall responsibility of the HR team to move the organization to the next level of AI transformation is also the responsibility of the HR organization. So great, great to hear this. Before we wrap this up, I have one last question, uh, and that's about security, trust with the AI systems. Right? You mentioned early on in this podcast that it is important to get started. You cannot wait because if you wait, people will be ahead of you, right? Everybody has FOMO, and rightly so. Like right now, everybody should have FOMO. So, but you also have to weigh the risks, educate on the risks, and create that trust. So, what is your view on that? Uh, how do you manage that risk while making sure you are running full steam ahead on this AI train?
Yeah, so managing the risk is top priority for sure. It's a focus for us. We cannot do anything that will jeopardize our employees' data or company data, customer data for sure. So we must secure our business, which with the AI world is tricky one, because if you want your LLM to grow, the model to grow, companies will ask for your data as well, because they are providing you basically other companies' data. Yes, it's not it's anonymized and cannot be identified. So we are putting all the gates, as I said, black labeling, white labeling data. If we are on information, to make sure that there will be no option to get and know really about the raw data, to get to the raw data. There is a lot of work done, a lot of approval, very rigid approval flow. This is from, the backend, the IT, the infosec, each vendor. We are under the most strict guideline of adopting AI solutions. That's why, by the way, negotiation with AI companies is a bit more complex, really, because we need to secure ourselves, we need to secure our people and customer. In regards to people here, we are making sure that AI is not a decision maker.
Hmm.
Okay, so it's a support system. We will not disqualify anyone for moving to a job just because AI said is not relevant. We can give the only recommendation, so we still keep the human side of it. Second, if we are using personal data and running it via AI, and we are getting a insight out of it, or then we are asking for our employee consent. So if we have, for example, I gave you the example of a career navigation and how you go your career. Before you open even your profile in the hub, you have very clear. You need to have
Okay.
to agree of what we are doing with this data, and there is no abuse of the data, and nothing is done in a wrong way. So we are keeping this transparency. We are keeping the fact that it will not impact the employee if they share data, because we need this data to grow our model to be more precise. So I would say this is a very valid point. You need to take care very carefully, make sure that at this point of time, and I don't know when it will change. In regards to people decision, AI is not a decision maker. It's only a support system,
That
and
makes sense.
privacy and security for sure.
That makes a lot of sense, Asaf. So to summarize, the three major points you were saying is protect the company's data. That's number one, right? White label, don't send it. If it is being sent, get it deleted, whatever it is, right? So that's number one. So spend time in creating policies on how to work with AI vendors, right? The second is don't allow it to make decisions. Don't allow AI to make any decision. And the third is more around the fact that if a employee slash customers information is being used, we got to tell them that this is how it's going to, this is what is being used and how it is being used as well, right? So three
Yes,
three major areas, right?
yeah, we are getting consent for every use case we would like to implement the AI. You know it probably from Leena AI. If now you want to put Leena AI on top of case management, it might include sensitive data in the backend, right?
Absolutely.
We are not exposing it, right? So even if we put how you mark sensitive, how you identify, how you don't bring it into the model. This is for us number one before implementing any AI solution.
No, absolutely. We've seen we've actually pioneered a lot of stuff around transparency and uh, privacy and security, etc. as well. But yeah, the number one thing that we also follow is any action. Like let's take an example of the HR shared services thing that we've done. So, for example, someone would come and say, hey, change my dependents, and I just had a baby born moment, and I want to add them to my dependents, right? So Leena will be like, okay, congratulations, give me the name and information, etc. Once the information is done, instead of just directly doing it in Workday or SuccessFactors or Oracle Fusion, Lena will say, "Hey, this is the form I have filled out for you. Click OK." So that's the kind of decision making. So I completely get where you're coming from, Asaf, and I really appreciate you condensing it down into three core areas for the audience to consume and to think about. Um, I think this has been extremely amazing, Asaf. I really want to thank you for taking out the time and spending that time with us and educating us and the entire audience here on the things that you've done and how you're thinking about the future of work. So thank you so much for doing this, and I hope to have you again sometime soon.
Thank you for hosting me, Adit. It was a pleasure, and I'll be happy to come and share anytime.